the live meeting, but in this case, we can kind of control that.
Rob, you want to take a minute and get some gel in your hair and then come back, or are you just going to go like that?
Just letting it ride, brother. Letting it ride. You're just jealous because you ain't got that much on your forehead. That's all.
It's only because I cut it back. That's the only reason.
No.
I'm gonna go get some gel on mine.
Get that buffing cloth off and get something on there.
Why do you think I wear bangs? It's to cover up my wrinkles.
Barbara, you don't have wrinkles.
Oh yeah, my wrinkles have wrinkles. Oh, we're streaming live on YouTube now. Whoops.
Oh no. Whoever Jorge is, I just accidentally let him in.
No a escuela mañana.
No, yeah, there's no school tomorrow.
Why?
In case you think I've got a Harley in the room with me, it's just my cat purring.
All right, I'm missing, I don't see Stacy on yet. I'm gonna wait for Stacy. I think that will be everybody. Clark, are we videoing? Yes, we are. Never mind. I'll talk to you later, Clark, on that obituary I sent you.
Yeah, I hated to see that, darn it.
That was a surprise, shocker to me. All right. Still, I'm not seeing Stacy. I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes here until she jumps on.
I just hope one of these isn't Stacy. We have an iPhone. We have Jorge's iPhone, David Abraham.
I just sent Stacy a text.
I can go knock on her door real quick.
Yeah, you could. Now we have a Tyler Ritchie.
You know, I think I'm going to get started, and I anticipate Stacy will be there. She is. No, I'm not going to start without Stacy. Perfect. Hey, welcome this evening. It's the September 8th of the year 2020. We are here to receive on a public hearing, and in accordance with resolution number 2020-07-20R, and is determined by myself, this city council meeting will be held electronically, as conducting the meeting at City Hall presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of the public due to COVID-19. You may watch the meeting live stream at the website posted above. Those wishing to make comments should email their comments to Zoom public comment at afcity.net prior to 5 p.m. the day of the meeting for the comments to be read into record. And so tonight we will begin with the public hearing to receive public comments regarding the declaration of real property to be surplus and disposed of. Terlyn, will you want to read in a public comment on any others that may have come concerning this item?
Okay, so let me give a background. The public hearing was published on August 25th to receive public comment declaring city-owned property surplus and disposed of. That original notice included 4 parcels of land that was owned by the city, which included the northeast corner of 1120 North and 150 West, along 1190 East from the Murdoch Canal to 1350 North, a park strip area along 1340 North and 70 West, and a strip of ground along 1400 North and 150 West. But in looking at it, it was determined that 2 of the parcels should not be declared surplus as they were needed for a future sidewalk and trail. And then 1 parcel, the 1340 North 70 West park strip parcel, was incorrectly advertised, and it was not, that parcel was not intended to be declared surplus. So that leaves only the 1120 North and 150 West. So I did receive 1 comment from Tony Coates, who owns the property at 1340 North and 70 West. And this is what he said. To whom it may concern, I am the owner of the property described in the above notice as 1340 North 70 West Park Strip. I called and spoke with Terry Lynn Lurker this afternoon concerning this notice. She told me that this entry in the notice was incorrect. She said that this item on the notice would be stricken. This comment is to just record what was discussed on the phone. Respectfully, Tony Coates. And that is the only comment we have received.
All right. Okay, we'll now move on to the second item of the public hearing, that is to receive public comments on amendments to the fiscal year 2021 budget, July 1st, 2020 to June 20, 2021. And for the record, Terlyn, can you state, have we received any public comment?
No, we did not.
Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and we will move on to the American Fork City Council regular session. We welcome everybody that is here, and we have others that are waiting to be heard in the waiting room. And the agenda has been posted in various places throughout the city and on specific websites. And we will follow the agenda as outlined. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, after which we'll have an invocation by Councilmember Shelton, and after which I will conduct the roll call. If everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to be gathered together as a council and as a community to be able to discuss matters that pertain to this wonderful part of the earth that we live in. We're thankful, Father, for the freedoms that we enjoy, for those who are out there on a regular basis defending such freedoms, and for the opportunity that we have to assemble and to be able to discuss matters that can further better the area and be able to make it more enjoyable to live therein. We're Ask thee, Father, thy spirit will be with us, that we may be able to have great decorum, to be able to be directed and be guided in the decisions which we make. We ask that we will be mindful and respectful of each other and understand that there is responsibilities tied to the rights and freedoms that we enjoy. We're grateful, Father, for the privilege that is ours to, again, enjoy such great freedoms and blessings, and ask thy blessing upon this meeting in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'll now conduct the roll call. Councilmember Christiansen,
Here,
Councilmember Shelton,
Here.
Councilmember Barnes,
Here.
Councilmember Carroll,
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Okay. Item number 2 is a 20-minute public comment period. I'm going to again state for the record, Tara Lynn, have we received any public comment?
We did not receive any more comments.
Okay. All right, item number 3, City Administrator's Report. Mr. Bunker.
Thank you, Mayor. City Council, there's just a couple things I wanted to report to you. Both have to do with water. The first one is that the bubble will be put back on top of the swimming pool on September 28th. And so we're going to try to keep the fitness center open during this time. Of course, the pool will be closed while we put the bubble on top, but we've done a lot of work at the fitness center in the early spring during the COVID shutdown. And I think we'll be able to probably accommodate a lot of our activities there at the fitness center during that time. So that will be September 28th that the bubble will be placed back on. Considering the temperatures that we've felt the last couple of days, it probably will need it sooner than later. So the other issue is has to do with our pressurized irrigation system. And we are consuming irrigation water at an extraordinary rate. And we would like to ask our citizens to be conscientious of their water consumption and watering their yards and lawns. As these temperatures do cool down, it is appropriate to cut back on watering outdoors. And it would be very helpful for our water system if we could limit our use, start to dial back that irrigation time on your lawns and gardens and whatnot. So that's just important for us to do. We have the water we need, but it's definitely drawing down on our resources. So we're just inviting the community and the public and the city as well. We're doing our part too. We've talked to our parks department, talked to our cemetery. We're gonna start dialing back on our consumption as well. We've called the school district, another large water users. And so if we could just pull back on the water consumption, now's the time. That's all I've got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Okay, we'll now move on to council reports. I'll start with Councilmember Christiansen.
I have nothing to report this night.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Shelton.
Thanks, Mayor. Had a great opportunity this last week to go out and use the Fox Hollow Golf Course. Had a couple big executives, one with AT&T, that come in and took them to Fox Hollow, and they had great compliments coming back about the course, the way it looked and felt. It was all their first time being there, and had a lot of opportunity to talk about a lot of municipal topics, from fiber to all sorts of different topics. And it was great to spend some time with them and get them to understand American Fork a little bit better. Also showed them the Art Dye Complex, and they were pretty impressed with what we have out there. And so felt great. I think one of the comments that one of them made is American Fork feels like just the right size to be able to have that small community feel, but a lot of the amenities that need to be out there. So it was great to have that. Wanted to pass that feedback on. The other feedback that I had is probably more for Barbara. Been involved in a lot of the recreation programs. It's been great with that Art Dye Park up there. It's just been an awesome amenity that's there. And I think it's being well used. I think one thing we may want to take a look at, and maybe the Parks Committee can look at, is just our uses of the park. It seems to be there's some uses that are colliding with each other. The one complaint I particularly got was on the dogs that are there. And it seems like dog users don't like to use leashes nor to pick up after their dog. And then you have recreation programs that come in, and that's not fun when your kid sits down or steps in or has to clean up after someone else that hasn't. And so not sure what the answer is there, but thought I'd just pass that on for maybe the Park and Recreation Committee to talk about and see what that would be. I don't know how much the dog park is actually being used down in Easton Park, or if we need to publicize that more, or how we can help those compatible uses in the appropriate places. That's all I have to report, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you for that report. Councilmember Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing as far as my specific assignments on the council go. I did take the opportunity Saturday to go over and visit the Fork Fest concerts that were being put on by the Harringtons. They were very happy with what was taking place. The number of people that were admitted this year was limited to 1,500 at any one time, which was about half of what they had last year. They completely sold out their tickets a day or two before the concert actually started. And then as people were leaving on Saturday, if they were leaving for good, they asked them to turn their wristband back in so that they could be reused and let additional people in. Everybody that I saw seemed to be enjoying it. It's a little loud and raucous for an old man like me. Most of the people there were much younger, and they were really getting into it. But I think overall it was a big success, and it's just another one of those things that helps make American Fork a great community and make it American Fork. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that report, Councilmember Barnes. Councilmember Carroll.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I do have a couple of things I wanted to mention today. One was that the Chamber of Commerce just restarted having their monthly lunches. And I went to their first one, which was last week, and I was very impressed with the measures they had taken to make it very socially distanced. They had long, narrow tables and only one person to a table. So people were probably 10 feet apart, and then everybody wore a mask when they weren't eating, and I didn't see anyone congregating. They were able to meet together and have a discussion and a speaker and have a lunch that was a box lunch. So I was pretty impressed with the measures they were taking, and that they were able to still have the event that they normally have. They normally have those once a month. So I was pretty happy about that. The other thing is, I'm sure that council and mayor already received an email, but I noticed that the Children's Justice Center has their grand opening this Saturday. And that center in Provo is something that my family have helped with, have been involved with for many years. And I'm really excited that one is opening up in American Fork, and that I can maybe have a little taste of it and maybe welcome them to American Fork. So if you get a chance to go to that, or if you have a chance to be involved in any way, the Children's Justice Center is a great service for the community. They allow children who need to be interrogated, or a place that they need to be questioned, they can go to the Justice Center, which is very home-like instead of just a police station. Or children that just need a place to go for a few hours, they also go there. So it's a really great thing for us to have in our community. I just kind of wanted to mention it.
Okay, thank you for that report. Councilmember Taylor.
I have nothing to report tonight, Mayor.
Okay. All right, for the mayor's report, I would have a few items. I might respond to you, Councilmember Carroll, that the Children's Justice Center, the CDBG program to help finance that board that we sit on. And I expect with some additional COVID money, we'll see additional funding coming their way. So I'm like you, I am very happy that they're here. They're really here to serve the North Utah County area. And so the other cities were very willing to participate, but they landed their home here, which was great. So I'm looking for it. And I understand there is a ribbon cutting on Saturday for that event to officially open. So been very involved with the COVID Economic Recovery Committee with, we've kind of changed our mindset from businesses to the nonprofit organizations. And we spent a lot of time today. There is, I would say three or four from American Fork that have submitted application to receive grant money from that. We will finalize that process next week with interviews and things like that to the applicants. We felt like substantiated that with large asks. It was my privilege last week to participate in the Greenwood School ribbon cutting. It's kind of, I guess it's not the original school, but it felt like this new school. You didn't even know when you were into the new one or the old one. It just, the whole school felt new. And how they blended that in was quite unique. And very large hallways. And so it was just fun to be there and have my little granddaughter who is a kindergartner. She's just starting out. It was her second day. The superintendent and one of the board members wanted her to cut the ribbon and participate in that. So we did that together. And then last Friday, attended an event up at Tibble Fork Reservoir. It was an event that was sponsored by Amazon in conjunction with Protect and Preserve American Fork Canyon. But it was Amazon's executive staff that came together to clean up the area in and around Tibble Fork and promote general good care of the canyon. And Amazon was very gracious, and I'm going to put this up. I think I'll try to see if you can see this. It's probably backwards to you, but they printed 1,000 of these, and they will be sending them out. They're just the old-fashioned little things you used to put in your car to, again, remind you to kind of clean up after yourself. But we're on this, our logo, along with the county sheriffs, Protect and Preserve American Fork, Amazon, and then our neighboring cities participated in that as well. So I appreciate David being there with his gloves as well. He was in the thick of things. So, and then I would just, by way of announcements, remind everybody that we'll have an agenda that will be coming out Thursday, but we have a meeting with the Parks and Trails Committee September 15th. That will take place at 7 p.m. That's going to be, we're accommodating their work schedule. If there's any conflicts, please let me know. That is the mayor's report. We'll now move on to the common consent agenda, which consists of that's really only 4 items. There's 5 items on the agenda. Tara Lynn let me know that item number 2, the approval of the August 25th, 2020 minutes, was not prepared. We will have them on the next agenda. So it's items 1, 3, 4, and 5. If there's any questions for staff, myself, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve the common consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the common consent agenda consisting of items 1, 3, 4, and 5 for approval.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Taylor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christie Hansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, item number 1, review and action on an alcoholic beverage license for Sol Agave located at 598 West Main Street, Suite A. And we have the applicant with us. If there's any questions for this applicant, and maybe we can just ask him, tell us the root of your business so we can learn a little bit about you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mayor.
Hi. Tell us
Honor to meet you.
a little bit about your new business.
Absolutely. So we are Sol Agave. We are a family-friendly restaurant. We come from Orange County is where we have our restaurants. We have one in Mission Viejo, one in San Juan Capistrano. And we're looking forward to the opportunity of coming to Utah, and American Fork is our first location. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the applicant? If not, we can move right into a motion.
Mayor, I'd move to approve an alcoholic beverage license for Sol Agave located at 598 West Main Street, Suite A.
Okay, have a motion by Councilmember Taylor,
I'll second it.
Second.
second by Councilmember Chris Jansen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Chris Jansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Great. All right. We look forward. We hope you'll have a ribbon cutting. We'll be there. Officially welcome you into the city. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Nice to meet you. Items number 2 and 3. We have.
I have a,
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I have a bad connection, or I can't really hear.
Okay. Well, we
I
approved.
only
your
heard 3 of
license. Yeah, we approved your license and we look forward to seeing you open your building. Okay.
Thank you. We look forward to it, and we look forward to being a blessing to the community, and we look forward to inviting everyone personally to our VIP grand opening that should be coming shortly.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
God bless. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 2 and 3. Do we have the applicant? Is he present in the waiting room? I am going to recommend, after discussing this with staff, that we table 2 and 3 till the next council meeting. There's a couple items that I feel like we need to address prior to bringing it to the council for an action item.
And I don't know if other council members had questions on this one as well, but I just had a few concerns with just more or less spot zoning on a high density area versus where it's at. So I don't know if that's worth having a work session on to get a better understanding of it. But my initial reaction to this was concern with just right in the middle of an R275 going to an R4 for no other reason than just because, so.
Okay. We have the time to have a work session on this. I don't have a problem with that. It sounds like Councilmember Carroll, I saw your head nod. Do you feel the same way? Okay.
Yeah, it was the same concern.
Same.
Okay. Councilmember Taylor. Okay.
Maybe one question I had that maybe staff could compile, just didn't know how much of the existing neighborhood was aware of this taking place. It reminded me a lot of the 850 East when we had that fourplex that was going to be built in there, and the Shelleys ultimately purchased it. But just with any report back on the next packet about what's been done to the neighborhood to let them know what's going on, I think would be helpful too.
It's just been the standard notice. The property was posted. It's been on the city's website. I don't know if it's really worth a whole work session to discuss it. It was a request of the property owner, the applicant. There's about half a block to the north, there's an area designated as high density right now, even though the underlying zoning is still R2 7500. It's a request for the council for consideration. It was not unanimous at Planning Commission. We did have one member feel that the existing land use designation and zoning should remain, and that's how it's coming to you. So this is just a picture of what's there and what they're asking for change. So it is one property, that's correct. But it's basically up to the council to consider that. If you feel the existing designations are fine, then that would be reflected in your motion.
So I guess, Mayor, I'll go ahead and I'll just make a motion to table this item, item 2 and 3 then.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Shelton to table, second by Councilmember Barnes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, item number 3. Councilmember Shelton, you want to do a repeat on item number 3?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. My motion was to do 2 and 3, but I'll do 3 again. I'll take motion to table that.
Okay.
I'll
Have a
second again.
Motion by Councilmember Shelton, second by Councilmember Taylor. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 4 is a review and action on an ordinance amending section 17.5.608 of the American Fork City Municipal Code as related to district framework plans. Scott, you're on mute. There you go.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, with this item we have before you, it would put a slight adjustment to the language that describes and really as it applies to the district framework plan, specifically as it is to the operational overlay. Let me just kind of maybe explain it in a little bit of, I guess, plain language, layman's terms, as to what we're trying to do here and what we request your support on. Is the district framework, or the operational overlay as it exists in the TOD, is a fairly rigid set of grid lines, north-south streets, east-west streets, and so forth in there. One of the things that it did not, I guess, take into account very well when it was set up was the fact that as developments come in parts and pieces, property lines, there's a lot of things that really require the local streets, and this is really all about the local streets, to sometimes be adjusted a little bit differently than this perfect checkerboard, if you will. So we do feel strongly as the as staff that the master plan roads, I'm talking the collectors, the major collectors, really need to be pretty much where they are, but that we need to, as a staff and as a city, give a little more flexibility to the development community on where those local roads go. What we do want to do still is to make sure that there is still the concept of connectivity, that you're able to go from one development to another, that it's not isolated little communities in and to themselves that don't interact with each other and don't have that kind of connection with each other. So we don't want to stop that, but a lot of the way the code is worded, or at least the way we interpret it, that it's worded, is that you would kind of have to, if I was going to say stand at the very west end of over by Lehigh and look straight down to the east, that I'd be able to see the very east end because I've got a street that goes straight down instead of, you know, jogging here and there or whatever. And that was never really the intention for local roads. Doesn't work real well. For the master plan roads, absolutely. I mean, the collectors and so forth. You want to be able to have that ability to head down the road there. So this wording gives us a little bit more flexibility to the development community to be able to make adjustments. Still got to be reviewed and approved by staff for connectivity and all the other things that are part of it, but doesn't make it so rigid that we're following this checkerboard with the local streets. I apologize for the long explanation there. I hope that helps kind of what we're trying to do here. Had Sherilyn look at it as well. And if you've got any questions or need me to kind of explain a little something more, I'd be happy to.
It was long, Scott, but I think the hand motions really helped reel it in. So
Well, when I get handcuffed, you know, that's how it is, you know.
Just a quick question for you. I'm assuming that staff has the ability, even though they're going to put this together, they can come back and say, no, we need this road here. Or this is where the connectivity needs to be. It's just adding some flexibility.
Absolutely. It not just gives the development community more flexibility, but I think it gives the staff, really the city is representing the city, more flexibility to get a network out there of local roads that works, takes into account local property lines, all the other things.
And with flexibility, you mean that they can now do cul-de-sacs down there. Is that right?
I
was trying to get a reaction. I couldn't get a reaction out of her quite quick enough. So never mind.
I'll keep my hands together
There you go.
for Councilman Taylor there.
I'm going to make fun of Rob for something else, Scott, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance of section 4, section 17.4608 of the American Fork City Municipal Code relating to district framework plans.
I have a motion by Councilmember Shelton,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Taylor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen. Barbara, I think you're muted. I just want to,
Aye.
okay. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, item number 5 is a review and action on a reimbursement agreement with Wags Cap LLC for system improvements on 500 East and Auto Mall Drive. I believe that the city has looked at this and felt like we can do it cheaper by hiring our own contractor. The method the method to take care of this, what would be the right method, Sherilyn? Would just table it? Can we just strike it? Do we turn it down? The city is going to perform this work in-house and bring our own.
If the intent is to never approve this, then yes, I would just say that the proper way would just be to strike it.
Okay. All right. That is something I'll strike then, just for the sake of money savings to the city. It's just adding some sidewalk. And we found out that our contractor that we do work with on a regular basis is a cheaper price. And so we'll just use him for that.
So Mayor, I'll make a motion just to deny the reimbursement agreement.
Okay.
And that works as well.
Okay. A motion by Councilmember Shelton.
I'll second it. And I was going to say, it seems to me that we ought to have an action to deny it. So thank you, Mr. Shelton.
Okay, and I have a second by Councilmember Barnes. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember Carroll, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Councilmember Taylor.
I wasn't muted and you couldn't hear me, so something was going wrong. Aye.
Okay. Item number 6A is a review and action on an ordinance approving a commercial site plan for the Bach Apartments located in the area of 740 East, 620 South in the PC Planned Community Zone. Looks like we have the applicant that is entering for any questions that we have. Adam, I'm going to just turn to you to just kind of give us an overview.
So this is within that area of the Vest annexation. This is one of 2 developments you'll see tonight. This one is at about 740 East and 620 South. It's a mix of townhome and apartment units. There will be townhomes basically surrounding it in the front, and then the main apartment complex and units will be in the interior of the property. The Planning Commission discussed it and recommended approval. They meet the parameters of the memorandum of understanding, the annexation agreement, and the concept plan that have been approved by the council. So this is the first site plan that we're seeing.
Okay, thank you for that. Does the council have any other questions for staff or for the applicant that's with us?
Yeah, Adam, in that layout that you tried to decipher this, but I couldn't. In that last, and obviously this is the very best of the best, the way it looks. But in that very last photo that is in the packet, or that simulation that's in the packet, is that the interior or the exterior? So are those the townhomes or the apartments?
Have to go there and look.
Yeah,
that would be
it.
that's the apartment complex itself in the interior.
Very attractive. I mean, that's nice.
And I'm guessing so the apartments obviously will be just rented out, but the townhomes on the exterior are going to be sold. Is that the intent there?
It's not been platted that way. This is just one site plan. So my assumption is those will also be rented. If those are to be individually owned, then a subdivision plat would need to come forward.
It's all one big complex there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we have Nick Mason in the room. If you have any questions for Nick or their architects, their whole team's here. So if not, I would entertain a motion to however the council feels about this.
The question I had is just the connectivity down there. We're putting in quite a bit of density there. Have we connected over to North County Boulevard at all, or when is that connection supposed to take place to release some of that pressure on State Street and 5th East?
David, I'm going to have you talk to that. We spoke of this today in key staff.
Yeah, as part of the development, there will be a requirement to connect 620 South over to 830 East, or 860 East, excuse me. It will not go all the way through to North County Boulevard, but it will go to 860 East.
We're on State Street and 50 East.
And then just with that, is there, I thought there was a major corridor that's supposed to go all the way over to North County Boulevard where we tied in with Pleasant Grove at some point.
Yeah, there is a master plan for that road to continue on over to North County Boulevard, but that is not part of this project. In fact, part of that road is in Pleasant Grove and will need to be coordinated with Pleasant Grove City in order to go all the way through to North County Boulevard.
It's awesome to see this develop. I just want to make sure we get that connectivity. I think that third leg is going to be very important to help relieve some of the traffic and density you feel in that connectivity on both sides. Is that ball in our court? Is it the developer's court? What do we need to do to move that project forward?
I think it's in a development court. The Vest properties are east of 860 East. There's a little parcel there as well. And I know Buck Swaney is working with the property owners to at least develop that portion sometime in the future. But it would take more coordination with the city of Pleasant Grove and the property owner who owns the property in between the American Fork border and North County Boulevard. So there is property there that is owned by a private property owner, but it's in Pleasant Grove City. And so that would be a coordination effort between both cities and that property owner. But it's outside of our jurisdiction.
Nick, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. So I've got a question for you, Nick. Your understanding of that road of is it 620?
620 South.
Nick, what is your understanding of 620 and how it relates to this project?
Well, it serves this project. It creates access. It goes all the way from basically from I-15 over to 860. We're in the process of building that road as we speak.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? One of the applicants or Nick that you have with you, would you want to say anything in conjunction with what you've already heard?
You know, I had a hard time getting in here, so I probably missed quite a bit, but
You missed about probably 30 seconds. I watched you connecting and it was just right at the first.
okay. Yeah, well, no, we're happy to be part of this development. It's something we've been looking forward to for a while, and so I think that it's going to be a great community, not only from our apartments, but the other developers in there and the office and mixed use that might happen. So we're excited for it.
Okay. All right, council, where do you want to go with this?
Well, I'm happy to make a motion to approve it. Could we have Vendeline put that motion up?
I've got it here, Stacy. Would you? Oh, and there we go. Never mind. It's got it.
I move to adopt the ordinance approving a commercial site plan for the Bach Apartments located in the area of 740 East, 620 South in the PC Planned Community Zone with instructions to the city recorder to withhold publication of the ordinance subject to all conditions identified in the public record associated with the August 19th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, I have a motion by Council Member Carroll.
I'll second.
Second by Council Member Taylor. Any further discussion?
Just a matter of,
Go ahead, Rob, then I'll
a
go.
matter of comment. Just that road and section is real important to me. So as we look future down the road, that's probably a question I'll keep asking over and over again, because I do see that being very critical to the success down here. So just, I'd love any update as these projects come forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Barnes.
I was just a little curious about the word commercial site plan when it appears to me this is all residential. Am I just being too nitpicky? And if I am, say so.
Adam, that might be for you.
Yeah, Adam, maybe speak
as
to
far
that.
as, yeah.
Projects come forward.
We can just say site plan, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Just approving a site plan. correct?
Yeah.
All right.
So then do I need to amend the motion to remove
Yes.
the word commercial?
Yes.
Done.
No, that would be, basically, it would be Stacy's motion to amend. Would you accept that?
Or to
amendment?
amend, yeah, to amend her.
I'll move
motion.
to amend the motion.
Okay, and then it was Councilmember Taylor. Did you second it?
Yes.
All right, so with that amendment, I'll take a roll call vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
I know.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, item number 6B is a review and action on the final plat for the American Fork Apartments located at approximately 850 West, 250 South in the TOD zone. This was on our agenda last time. If you remember right, we tabled it. It's had some modifications and it's back for your consideration tonight. Scott, why don't you, if you would mind, just kind of explain some of those modifications.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I know one of the main concern was the curve of that road where I think Vinland was moving the cursor a minute ago. Our standard in the code says that it needs to be a 270-foot radius unless otherwise approved by the city engineer and the public works director. We took a look at that, and as I think David was saying, maybe we ought to look at something less than 270, but more than what they had, which was 50. And the big concern was fire situation with fire trucks. 270, it would have really been a problem for the developer. And we agree because a 270-foot radius would have had to have started clear back out into 900 West, and almost the whole road there would have been a curve immediately. Would have been really, really challenging and I think difficult. So I was in close communication with the fire chief and the fire marshal in looking at what they felt they could live with and especially with their largest vehicle. They felt that they could have no problem if it was 100-foot radius. So it was 50, this goes to 100. I really, again, was wanting to make sure we took care of the fire. So my feeling was if they're good, I'm good as well, and feel that this is a good compromise and that it works really well. So with that, our recommendation is to go ahead and approve this.
Mayor, I move to approve the final plat for American Fork Apartments located at approximately 850 West, 250 South in the TOD zone, and to authorize the mayor and city council to sign the plat and accept the dedications with instructions to the city recorder to withhold recording of the plat subject to all conditions identified in the public record associated with the August 5th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilmember Taylor, second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay. I see Dwayne, you're with us. I hope that makes you happy, and appreciate you joining us, and we'll excuse you and move on to other business. I was gonna pull on you, but it looked like the council went that way. Thank you for being here. Item number 6C, review and action on the final plat of Easton Park subdivision phase 5, located in the area of 547 South, 860 East in the PC planned community zone. Again, we have the same team with Bach that is with us here tonight. Adam, would you just give us a little overview on this project?
This is simply just condominiumizing a structure in the Easton Park development from basically 1 unit into 4. There's no additional structures being constructed or units being created. This is simply just dividing one of the buildings that was initially 1 entire lot into 4 for separate ownership. And that's what this is doing.
Okay. All right, does the council have any other questions for staff or the applicants?
Mayor, I move to approve the final plat of Easton Park subdivision phase 5 located in the area of 547 South, 860 East in the planned community PC planned community zone, and authorize the mayor and city council to sign the plat and accept the dedications with instructions to the city recorder to withhold recording of the plat subject to all conditions identified in the public record associated with the August 19th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Barnes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, item 6D is a review and action on an ordinance approving a commercial site plan for the Ritchie American Fork 860 apartments located in the area of 860 East Quality Drive in the PC planned community zone. I'm going to turn to you again, Adam, just to give us a brief overview.
So we discussed the Bach apartments. This one is in the same general vicinity at 860 East Quality Drive. The concept plan that was part of the annexation agreement and then also approved by the council designated this area as high density. This reflects that. Again, they've met the parameters of the annexation agreement, the concept plan approval, and then the memorandum of understanding. So this did go before the Planning Commission, was recommended approval, and it's before you tonight.
Okay, thank you. Council, is there any further questions for the applicant?
My comment again is this, if this is 100% apartments, which it sounds like it is, why do we call it commercial? The commercial
Again,
side.
you can just,
Can we just want to make sure we're consistent is all I'm saying.
yeah, and that's fine.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Barnes, does that mean you want to make a motion?
I don't like these long ones, but I'll give it a try. I motion to adopt the ordinance approving a site plan for the Ritchie American Fork 860 apartments located in the area of 860 East Quality Drive in the PC Planned Community Zone, with instructions to the city recorder to withhold publication of the ordinance, subject to all conditions identified in the public record associated with the August 19th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Okay. A motion by Councilmember Barnes.
I'll second that. And Kevin, I thought you did a tremendous job with the long motion. Congratulations.
I made it through, but I can't do it in one breath like you can. It took me 3.
Okay. I have a second by Councilmember Taylor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a roll call vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 7 is a review and action on a performance in lieu agreement with Oz AF East LLC regarding actual construction in lieu of providing an improvement construction guarantee associated with Bach apartments located at 620 South, 700 East. Scott, I'm going to maybe ask you just give us a little preface to this. Maybe can you tell us something we haven't already learned?
This one's pretty well straightforward. It's a performance in lieu agreement, as the developers have the ability to do it instead of posting a bond. Again, this is for some of that infrastructure along there associated with the Bach apartments that was just discussed. So with that, unless there's any other questions, nothing unique about this, and we recommend approval.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, I'd move to approve the performance in lieu agreement with Oz AF East LLC for Bach Apartments located at 620 South, 700 East.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor,
Second.
second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a roll call vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, we have a full room. I would invite anybody that wants to leave, or George, if they're, if you're not associated, you're free to leave the Zoom meeting. Thank you for being here. Item number 8 is a review and action on a construction contract for the 100 East Street water line replacement construction contract. Scott, you're up.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this item is an item that's in the budget that was a budgeted project that we wanted to jump on very quickly this fiscal year so that we could do the service line replacements in this section of road. It is the worst area where we've had quite a few leaks in the past. And part of the reason why we wanted to move so quickly is to get in there and get out before before UDOT did some of their work on the street itself. So this is to replace the service laterals in the section of 100 East from 300 North to 500 North, and add fire hydrants as well where there are none. So with that, ready for any questions you may have.
Quick question for you, Scott. We've talked about water lines on First East and how it would go up both sides of the street. And I see here it says that it's going to go on both sides. Do those water lines go all the way on both sides up 100 East, or
So this is, the main is in the street itself. And when we were looking at options last year, one of the options that we considered was maybe abandoning that main and putting two mains in, one down each side of the street that would then be out of the street and be able to have the services feed off of that. After looking at it and really crunching numbers, it just didn't make sense to be able to do that. And so this basically leaves the main where it is, which the main's not in really, it's in decent shape. It's the laterals that are problematic. And so this just replaces those service laterals in that stretch. And then, as I say, adds hydrants as well, where right now there are none.
So are we going to replace the main all the way up First East then eventually?
No, well, I mean, we say eventually, probably years down. It's got some good life left in it. I mean, it won't last, forever, but it's in good shape to last for a long time.
We spent some time on this a few years ago talking a lot about the water lines that are on First East and what to do with those. So I was just curious, and that was part of it was do with what UDOT was planning to do with First East. I haven't heard anything more on that since we kind of told them no thank you. So at some point that's going to be widened, and I just want to make sure if we're in there doing work, we're getting the water lines exactly where we want them to go.
So they're not planning on widening it in the immediate future. What they're planning on doing is some resurface work, some surface level treatment. So widening could happen down the road, pardon the pun, but it's probably quite a ways into the future. So this is just the laterals, again, leaving the main alone.
All right, any other questions for Scott? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we accept the bid submitted by our Charrington Enterprises LLC for construction of the 100 East Waterline Improvements Project in the amount of $450,900 and approve the construction contract as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember Carroll. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, something must be happening with my sound. I'll try to speak up.
Okay. Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 9, review and action on a resolution declaring real property to be surplus and disposed of. As mentioned earlier, this would be the piece on 1120, 100, 150 West. This is that little parcel right there by that, just across from the church where the kids cross 150 right there coming out of the junior high.
Quick question I had just for staff real quick is if we ever saw a need for a right-hand turn lane to be dedicated there, would we just take up that bike lane that's there for that?
Mayor, maybe I'll take that. That's probably what we would do. I think if we ever did with the four-way stop there, it's probably unlikely that we would need or see much benefit from a right turn lane. But if we did, I think that probably what you just said would be best. I don't think we would want to necessarily widen the road beyond the current limits from curb to curb.
Okay. This has never made sense to me in all the years I've been with the city, this parcel. So, okay. All right, Fendelin, do you want to go back to the motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution declaring the real property to be surplus and disposed of.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Shelton.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Barnes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 10 is a review and action on a resolution approving amendments to the fiscal year 2021 city budget. Anna?
Yes,
There
thank
are.
you, Mayor.
Okay.
When we brought the budget before you in June, we were having some facility closures at that time. We've brought this item before you as we've adjusted some of the facility hours and corresponding part-time wages for parks, library, recreation, and fitness. Also included is an additional staff or public works inspector and vehicle, as well as a vehicle for a nuisance officer that's already been budgeted.
Okay. Any questions for Anna or the departments that are heads that were with us?
I think I remember us talking about, hey, we'll approve this and we will hold the hiring until we see kind of how COVID affects, and as it goes on, we'll bring these things on. Just a couple of questions I had though. Full-time wages on public works for the new public works inspector. It makes it look like we had budgeted 175,000. We're adding additional 54,000. So total compensation is 230,000 for that individual.
That is misleading a little bit. That budget item is for the entire Public Works Administration Department.
Okay, so I guess I'm just wondering, why do we need to add additional 54 for the inspector? When we had
That is the median wage for that inspector for that position. So the addition is a 54,000.
Okay, I got it. So the full-time wages for that line item in the budget is 175, which includes multiple people.
Correct.
54 is the salary of the, okay, sorry. I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's a pretty good salary for an inspector. So, yeah.
Ever been an inspector, Rob?
I was debating it, debating it. And then I was going to look down here and maybe this is another issue as well, but it looks like we have internal charges under the general fund for fleet vehicles. And then we have it in the fleet expenditures. Is that somewhat double counting the same line item, just different ways of planning it? Or are we looking at buying $60,000, $70,000 vehicles?
So the total purchase is 65,000 for the two vehicles. It is an internal service charge, so we record that expense in the fleet capital fund, yet we charge those general fund departments for that cost.
Right.
So there's a little bit of in and out, but it shouldn't be double counted.
Right, and I guess I'm just looking at it here. It makes it looks like it doesn't roll up. It just makes it look like we're buying a $60,000 nuisance officer vehicle, but it is only 30,000 that we're purchasing on that. Okay, awesome.
Okay. Thank you for that report. Anna, any other questions?
Doesn't that just bear out in the revenue versus expenses for these budget line items? So you look at where the first one we're talking about revenues, and then we talk about the expenses coming from those revenues of $65,000. Am I reading that incorrectly?
Yes, so we charge the general fund 65,000, and you'll see that corresponding expense in the general fund for the same amount. So it is an in and out, it nets, it washes out.
Yeah, my worry was it was in the general fund, and then if you look at fleet capital equipment, it was line item there as well. So as I saw it, basically there were two revenues and two expenses. So that's why I was wondering if we were splitting the cost between two funds, but it's just rolling up from what I'm understanding.
It is a bit misleading, but no, it's just one item, but charging the general fund for the expense.
All right.
Mayor, I'd move to adopt an ordinance repealing, let's see, am I one ahead? I am, sorry, let me go back. I move to adopt the resolution adopting move to approve the resolution adopting budget adjustments for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 budget.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Shelton. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Okay. Councilmember Taylor,
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
okay. Item number 11 is a review and action on an ordinance repealing the temporary land use regulations prohibiting the filing of new land use and development applications and the erection or construction of buildings or structures for land south of Pioneer Crossing and southwest of I-15. I don't know if this, as far as prefacing what happened here needs to take place, is there any questions that we might have for Cheryl Lynn regarding the language of this ordinance, the repeal of the temporary land use regulation?
Didn't have any questions for Cheryl, but just a comment. Maybe it'd be good. I know I mentioned it before about a work session to discuss where we're at on those temporary improvements on 200 South. I ran into a couple of residents that are down there and they had some questions on when those improvements were going to be made. I'm assuming as we remove this, what am I looking for? I can't think of the word, referendum or whatever it is, to not allow building. I'm assuming that's going to move forward. And as we move out of the COVID and things get back to normal, I anticipate that traffic will be back there. So just a comment that if we can get back together on that topic and really look at what are some temporary solutions for issues down there, or when we look at 200 South being built out, I think that'll be helpful.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments from the council?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance repealing the ordinance 2025-20, thereby removing the temporary land use restriction for the area south of State Road 145 Pioneer Crossing and southwest of Interstate 15 for a period not to exceed 6 months.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Shelton,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Taylor. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I just for the council's benefit, I'd like to mention that the first two segments are out to bid now. So wanted to that's something we're very happy with.
Okay.
And compliments to staff. I mean, and David for coming up. You know, the rate we're paying at this and the flexible lending terms are fantastic. So that's awesome.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
We heard you.
Thanks, Stacy.
I'm gonna make a suggestion. We have to smile like that when we say aye and frown when we say nay. That way you get both the audio and the visual effect, you know.
All right, item number 12, I have a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I moved to adjourn, but I have one suggestion first.
Okay,
What's the chances that we can update all of our templates? For instance, the request for council action, so that they have the new logo on there rather than the old one.
my next meeting, for sure. I'm surprised it hasn't been caught, yeah. So, okay. Was that a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I did. I'd offered that.
Second by,
Me.
Second.
second by Councilmember Carroll. We heard you loud and strong. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you very much.
See you guys. Have a good night.
See you all.
Night.